Hi, I'm David D., the official voice of the best thriller books. I'm here to introduce the next episode of The Five Angry Men. Today, they discuss the most memorable scenes from a movie or TV show. No one asked me, but my most memorable scene is the kiss of death from Godfather 2. Anyway, here are the boys.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Five Angry Men. As usual, with me is Chris, Seafoam Miller, Steve, Todd, and Derek. So today, the topic is, what is your favorite scene or moment from a movie or TV series? This is really broad. I don't expect anyone to pick just one, but try. And so with that, let's start with Chris Miller.
All right, so I've got two. And of course, we don't follow rules. So my first one would be Val Kilmer, Robert De Niro, the shootout.
Come
on. That is one of my favorite movies, but one of my favorite scenes of all time. Running down the street, just blasting away, trying to get out. But my honorable mention would be Shawshank Redemption, when he's on the beach. He's made it, and he's going to his freedom, and he's there. What is it? Somewhere it was in Mexico. I can't remember where the place
Zihuatanejo.
And that was one of the better climaxes to a movie. Was all this work for that one moment. And that was great.
Were you watching that scene? Is that what we're watching in Reflection?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Show of hands, who cried at that scene on the beach? Just
I
me.
got a little glimpse.
You're all heartless.
Yeah, a little bit.
Both of those scenes, actually, those are fantastic. Both of those are on my list. So well done, Miller.
I know you. I hate you to say that.
I know it hurts inside a little bit, but those are great. That was great.
All right, up next, let's do Derek.
The two that I've got two too. One's an honorable mention, and I think that we've talked about this before. I think the first one for me was that final scene in the movie Seven when Brad Pitt's screaming, "What's in the box? What's in the box?" We already talked about this. You knew that was one of my picks.
I knew. Well, I had extra.
Yeah, I think my second one, you might have picked this one too, is the very end of The Usual Suspects when Kaiser Sose is walking away.
Yeah.
That's a great scene, and it wasn't expected. So those are my two picks.
Awesome.
So I will tell you, as soon as you said Brad Pitt, those are great picks, by the way. But I thought you were, at some point, the first scene that came to my mind with Brad Pitt was when he jumps out of the closet and gets shot and burned after reading.
That's a great scene.
That is a very memorable surprise. Boom.
Boom.
All right, up next, because everyone is picking Todd, so let's do Steve.
I don't think I'll pick Todd. I got two deep cuts that I don't think you guys are going to pick. And they're like 1A, 1B. It's not honorable mention or whatever. One is The Natural. Roy Hobbs steps up to the plate. He's bleeding from a gunshot wound that was reopened. He breaks his bat that he homemade. And then he gets one from the bat boy that they made together. And he hits this towering home run into the lights. Every light in the stadium explodes, and all the sort of fireworks are sort of falling down on him as he runs around the bases. Win the pennant.
Yeah. For those of us under 65, you should go watch that movie.
It is an incredible movie with great people. And that scene gives me goosebumps every time I see it.
Yeah.
That's one. The other is a real deep cut. It's a movie from the 70s called The Producers, which they remade with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick after it was on Broadway. But I'm talking about the one with Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel. There's a scene in there where they put on this play, and the whole premise of the movie is, can they make more money with a flop by picking the worst play ever, raising more money than they need to run it, and then closing after opening day? And they pick a musical called Springtime for Hitler. And the scene where they have the opening act of Springtime for Hitler is so outrageous and so ridiculous and like parody at its finest, that I can't stop rolling on the floor every time it comes on.
Wow.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Good picks. All right. Todd, now it's your turn.
All right. Well, now that half of mine are gone. So I picked two, but I picked one movie, one TV. So throwing a little wrench in there. All right. So I would say for my movie, it is when Hannibal Lecter meets Clarice for the first time. That whatever, like, I don't know how old it was when I watched it, but it was one of the things where like I got freaked out immediately. Like you just saw evil coming on screen right then. And it was one of those things that it stuck with me forever. And everyone, hello, Clarice. Like everyone knows that as soon as you say it. So that for me was, I think one of my, first and lasting movie memories was that scene. So love me some scary stuff every once in a while. And on that vein of thought of terrible things happening, the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones is still just one of the most surprising, brutal, horrific scenes I've seen on television, and just really set the tone for the rest of the series. Like I was shocked. Steve, you would have loved it. It's a hell of a twist, bro.
I've never seen a second of this show. So
I'm looking at the other three guys, and it's all blank expressions.
No, I've seen it. It was good.
Okay, everyone's just
I've
like,
never watched an
everybody
episode
else,
at all of Game
the
of Thrones.
interwebs will back me up. It is one of those scenes where you're just like, what? Yeah. So,
and I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to interrupt you. But in Hannibal Lecter, he was only in that movie. His scenes were like 12 minutes, and that was it. And he was so good that he won the Academy Award for 12 minutes of work. That was a phenomenal scene. So
absolutely terrifying. Yeah. Had to dig a little deep for this.
that's a good pick. That'd be up there for me too. I didn't have that written down, but since everyone else chose two, I'll pick two as well. So when Miller first spoke and he said Val Kilmer, I thought he was going to take mine, because one of my favorite scenes is in Tombstone, where he's sitting at the poker table and he's doing like flipping his cup around. Tombstone is full of great scenes, but that's one of the ones that's most memorable to me. The other one, I was trying to think like what makes it memorable, and this one I remember really vividly from childhood. Like it's a kids movie that I still remember so vividly, but it's the movie Angels in the Outfield. It's with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Danny Glover and Tony Danza and Christopher Lloyd. And near the end, I'm going to spoil the movie because it was made in like 1991, but Tony Danza pitches a complete game and dives and catches like the winning out, and the Angels win the pennant and all that. And that one, I still remember a lot of that movie. Like it's just so clear in my head. So that was my second pick.
I would have never.
It's a great movie.
That is a good movie, yeah.
if you're going to pick a baseball movie, though, my honorable mention, because I'm like Steve, 1A and 1B, but Field of Dreams, when he said, if you build it, he will come. And he points to his dad. And he realizes it's dad. And I'm like, that one got me. Every time I see it, that gets me.
Every time he says you want to have a catch to his dad, like
yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
I thought you were going major league there, dude. I was like,
yeah.
No.
Here's Joe Boo.
Yeah, bleep you, Joe Boo. I don't need you anymore.
Got to get in there. Serrano's trying to sacrifice a real life chicken.
Willie Mays Hayes.
All right. Well, great picks, guys. In the comments, let us know what your favorite or most memorable scene is from a TV show or movie. And we'll see you in the comments. For Steve, Chris, Derek, and Todd, I'm Stuart, and we'll catch you next time on the next episode of 5 Angry Men. See you guys.
See you.